Hello everybody and welcome back to the Dark Red Gaming Club. Yes, it's been a while since the last video. Well, maybe just been weeks ago since that. I've been celebrating the 5th anniversary of Dragon Ball Legends. Great anniversary for those who are curious. And yeah, nothing P-06 related and nothing by far. What today's video is going to be is what are the things I want to see in P-06 in his final update. Maybe on what I would call for this one the Solaris release is what I would call it, because I mean it's the final episode, and the final episode you have to face Solaris. I don't want to call it like the super HEDGEHOG release, like something like that. That sounds stupid and long. I'd rather call it the Solaris release. And so for this one, I want to talk about what are the things I would want to see in P-06 added, and the things I may see as a nice fix or a thing that could be added in the game as soon as chaosX comes back from his break, who still has not started that. He's still continuing his fixing of the game. Example, like on Twitter, he revealed that he was working on this bell problem that he had in Kingdom Valley. Now he himself doesn't even know how to fix that problem, so he's gonna add stairs to it in the next release. So yeah, it's going to take a long time before he can release the Silver 2.0 or something like that to give us a definitive experience to play the Silver Edition demo during his break and his return. So yeah, let's start at first talking of what I want. So the way I'm gonna say all of this is by I'm showing you two pictures I did, which are lazy drawings of what I've done, and other stuff will be based on the game itself, which I have it on. Of course, is here the disclaimer and everything. And without further ado, let's begin. Okay, we're starting here with the main menu. One of the things I actually had in mind that I actually thought was a nice idea and a callback to the adventure games and everything was having a customized option. Like say you go to extras and you have customization. You go there, you pick a hedgehog or a character like say Sonic, and you want to choose an outfit from previous games, like say from Sonic Adventure and his cyan ring that he had on that game. Let me show you an example what I had there. Okay, here's an example of what I wanted to show. As you can see, it's a lazy version of it, but you have the word customized on the left side, and then you have the on the right side, which if you're trying to say what I'm trying is my right side of the whole thing. Here's the customized things. All the squares are just simply colors of what the thing should look like, and everything is affecting only the shoes and the rings, just like in Sonic Colors Ultimate. It would be decent, and the only thing in order to get these is by buying them with the rings you get when you complete a story and everything. Because back in Retail 06, when you play the game and you get an S ring, you get an amount of rings as a reward, and those rings you use them for to buy new shoes for Sonic in the game, which were back then broken, and also to get some other moves which are necessary to complete the game, like for example Sonic Stomp, Sonic Slide, and Light Dash. Things that are stupid and now they're by default with Sonic in this game. And what I would think is, if chaosX is planning to add hub worlds, which don't worry, we'll get to, is that having less the things to buy, like say Sonic keeping the Stomp, which is his only move, or the Light Speed, which became a natural move set by heroes. And say if chaosX is eliminating the Stomp from Sonic to be buying, then yeah, I accept that. But then what about other moves like the Light Speed Dash and the shoes, because the shoes are now available only through the world, through Crisis City, Tropical Jungle, Wave Ocean, a lot of locations like that. So what I would add is a customization option for all the characters, like say Silver gets some shoes color changes to give people like their own version of how they would play as silver to see their colors and everything. It won't change their skin or anything. It's just like their things they're wearing, like the gloves and shoes. Like for example, Shadow can use the fire ring that he contained in Sonic Adventure 2. Knuckles can use the spike gloves that he had in Adventure 2, or many more. There's just so many options for that. And if chaosX doesn't have plans for it, I understand why. It's a lot to do. And overall, it's just something that I would just think is a neat idea, because a game like this would really benefit a lot from a customization option, which it's not bad. But overall, if chaosX has no plan for other new features like these, because he already done with the camera and everything in the option menu, I really understand why he would never picked it. But either way, it's just a neat idea I had to see if chaosX would like to add to the game. So let's get to another thing, which this time won't be from picture. That will be soon. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is one of the things that this game has a better problems with, and it's that there's some characters around in the game, like say not Silver, I mean Tails or somebody else, who need like some changes. Because if I mentioned this before in my review or in some talkings of other things, but I did mention that Sonic has an extra button, which for me is the X button, which for me it does nothing. I press the X button and it doesn't do anything. Now, I'm not playing on a PlayStation or an Xbox 360 console controller. No, I have a Nintendo Switch controller, which works really great. But my problem is that there's an X button in my control options, and Sonic is not reacting to that. What I want chaosX to add after that is for those characters who don't have who have this button problem, like say for example here Sonic, and say let me check with Shadow. Does he have that same thing? Yes, he does. So what I would add is to maybe make Shadow, Sonic, and other characters who have this same problem to have an extra ability, or something that really isn't that effective or anything, but just at least is there to complete the button options for the characters. Because maybe like Shadow can have a like say a what would be a good option? I don't know. It's just really confusing how what other ability can chaosX add to this character with the X button or something like that, with the 4 button, because Shadow only has by far only 3 buttons that work: the spin dash, or the chaos sphere, which is in the same button, the jump, which also comes with the spin with the dash, and the kick attack. And he also has other moves like the chaos boost, which again, as I said, it was broken. But yeah, other characters, even like Silver, may need it still. I mean, Silver maybe doesn't need it because he's so good in this game. I'm actually changing a lot of my mind when it comes to the tier list, but I don't think it's changing anytime soon. Plus, again, I did say I'm not changing it anytime soon. That was my only tier list on P-06. Either way, what I want is an extra ability for the characters. Maybe they don't need it, but in order to make the characters have an extra button for player to even use, because remember, I'm using an X button in my Nintendo Switch controller, and it does absolutely zero anything. And like, I'm doing something, I'm pressing it, but it's not doing anything. That's why for me, what I want is an extra ability. Like say Silver could use like a throw it all ability, where if you have everything in your hands, instead of just dispersing them or killing them, you like press the X button and you like released it everywhere, like it was like say a tsunami or something. Let me show an example of this. Like for example, you have this robot right here, and instead of just killing it like that, You can instead grab it and launch it absolutely anywhere randomly. But I think that would be better if it only works on so many items. Like for example, silver can carry 2 boxes. And depending of course, like for example you have this ability, and you have the ability that you turn the whole thing into like some sort of circle for silver, and he'll throw that everywhere. That would be a neat idea, but that would be kind of broken for silver, to be honest. But that's an example of what I would do to make at least this gameplay like at least like finished in terms of the controller options. But I may see that other games have that same thing as well, but that's a thing that's just a nitpick on my own. So yeah, that's another thing. The controller add a extra ability for characters who have an extra button that does nothing. After that, I have really nothing else to say. If chaosX is not adding that and he's satisfied with all of the abilities, then yeah, if it's just a nitpick on my end. And after that, we can talk about the hub worlds. I can use this place as the hub world I'm talking about. But here's the thing: in the original P-06, the hub world was bad. Like the hub world was so awful, man. Like I could not think of anything that was really good from that. And what I would say about it is that I think there's no way of fixing it. I think the characters alone were the fix that hub world needed. And so yeah. For me, what I would say is that the hub worlds have town missions. And when it comes to the town mission, it's not like made a lot clear which are optional and which are not, which is required to advance the story and everything. The cutscenes, I have nothing to say because I know already that Sonic chaosX is working with someone else that already shown a showcase of that. But for me, I have nothing to say about the cutscenes. I just hope they're in this game and they're better versions of it, because definitely I see potential in the cutscenes with the new models of the characters. So for me, the hub worlds is another important factor about the game, because that was when Sega decided to scrap the idea of the adventure style, and hub worlds were one part of that idea when they created Sonic Adventure 1. Sonic Adventure 1 did a good job by locking some locations, and they can only be accessed through complete part of the story, which of course I think they did in the game in 06, but I don't think it was fully realized. I blame Sega for that one, to be honest. So here's what I'm gonna show. Here is my like absolute masterpiece at the hub world. This is Sonic in a building in Soliana, and we have the boost gauge, of course, which is the down one. We have the timer, we have the rings, the lives, and the point system. And as you can see, there's a tab, and there's another one that says mission, and those who have black dots and white dots, those are what I call the mission, where you can tap the minus button if you're playing on a Nintendo Switch, that is, and you press that button and you see the missions that are optional and which are not. That way the player can understand what are the location that they need to go in order to complete a mission, even though they're stupid. Like for example, maybe like Silver's rescuing of lost souls, which I don't know why that's a mission, and that's an optional mission, and if you want to do it to actually complete the game, you'll need to access the mission tab in order to get to the location, and then there's an arrow below Sonic which will show him where to go in order to get to the mission that he needs to do, or this thing as well marks where is the next stage. Because of Sonic and the rest of the cast's speed, it's easy to see that the hovers will be very easy to handle. So yeah, I don't see a problem with the hub worlds already when it comes to the to the characters. But I was always thinking, what are the things that will make the hub world less painful than it was on retail? Well, I had an idea. Add a missions tab and add an arrow below to make the player understand where they need to go. Players can have the option to deactivate both of them, maybe both of them at least, and do them on their own to get their retail 06 experience. But if players want to complete the mission by choice, by just seeing which ones are optional and where they need to go, and the arrow will help them. That arrow thing is also the replacement of the little sparkle thing from Adventure 1, where if you got lost, you could press that little sparkle, which turned out to be a character from Sonic True, and it will tell you where to go. Well, it means of telling you, it really brings you to where you need to go. And for Knuckles, that was broken. So yeah, that's what I would add to the hub worlds. I want to talk more about the hub worlds overall, because there's a lot of things I want to talk about it. Because hub worlds is the one thing I want chaosX to work once he comes back from the break he will do. I mean, again, he's working on he's gonna be working on the whole Solaris release. Man, I don't think that's gonna ever catch on. And one of the things that that he's gonna do only there is the boss fights and the final level, which was the end of the world, which is all the character except for Sonic 2 and Blaze as well, my bad, and to explore and get the Chaos Emeralds to save Sonic. That location, that entire thing is the last level before you head to the Solaris fight. Actually, I will also talk about the Solaris fight, which is a very important thing I want to talk about, because there's one thing I want chaosX to add that. But let's continue with the hub worlds. If chaosX finished the whole Solaris release, which is all the boss fights and everything, I want him to start at the hub worlds if he finally decides, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and just start at first adding these things, the mission tab and the arrow tab, which will help players a lot. If he doesn't want to do the hub worlds, then he can go the Adventure 2 route and just put them level by level, like acts and everything, which would be really easy, to be honest. So yeah, what I want from the hub worlds as well is the selection of town missions. You may know that there's a lot of town missions that are bad. Like, I'm not saying like hard or anything. I'm just calling them bad, straight up. And there's some that are so dumb, and you don't want to do them, like the Trial of Love, which is just picking between between Amy and Elise as a love interest for Sonic, which for me is stupid. Why that when you have to go and save Elise? I mean, even Amy's an easy pick to finish the whole thing faster. But yeah, that mission is really bad, but I say that because that's a mandatory mission. I don't think it will be able to be removed. So what I would say is that add some mission to do the selection of missions. Maybe chaosX can do this, but to do a poll in every day to say what are the town missions that people want them to be eliminated. From the roster, like say the collecting of apples with Silver's telekinesis, and that gets a huge percent, that mission will be gone. That's a way I could say that it would be really easy for chaosX to know which mission player wants to do, while also not eliminating, while also making sure to find which ones are going to be the hardest for him to manage, because I mean the apple thing will be really hard to control. Or say mission that can stay as their favorites. Actually, somebody should make the poll like that to ask which are the town missions from Retail 06 was the best one by far for them in their opinions. Maybe Shadow has them? Maybe Shadow has the best one by far. I don't know, but that's the thing, is to make a selection of town missions, because if the game is going to be fixed, some town missions has to go. Also, let's talk about as well the item shop, because if you remember what I said, the item shop was another thing, and that's why the customization option was also a selection of the things I want to see in P-06. So yeah, when it comes to overall the buying stuff, that was back then to like unlock a lot of characters' moveset, like Shadow's Chaos Smash, whatever it is, because that's not in the game. Or Silver's Stomp ability, which overall just paralyzes enemies, which, like, if you see my playthrough, that's broken. And Sonic's shoe abilities, but because the shoes are located in every single stage from Sonic, except Wave Ocean from Tails, the best way that chaosX can fix this thing is, of course, when I said the customization, but to also make the movesets that the characters have more expensive, like say Sonic Stomp, which would be an ability that you can buy instead of being a default. It would cost like 1,000 rings. Yeah, I know it's a lot, but I mean, it would leave players to do town missions to get the Stomp ability, and it would take longer because of how much you have to get. I mean, S rank in the game will give you 3,000 rings, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. But that's the thing. What I'm saying is to make them more expensive, so that you take more time at getting that, and to give the shop a bit more value than it was in retail. I think for Shadow and Silver's movesets can stay the same, except for some of them because Shadow gets the uninhibited mode in Dusty Desert, and Silver gets all of his other abilities through some, I don't even know what they're called, to be honest. I don't know how to call them, but I mean the hidden abilities from Silver, and you get them one from Dusty Desert, the other from Aquatic Base, and the other from Flame Court if you S rank all the stages. So yeah, add more abilities, nerf some characters, and maybe add other characters like say Tails' swiping ability, Knuckles' punching. Well, I mean Knuckles' punching is default, so I don't think that's possible. Or better, Rouge's bombs, because the bombs are actually becoming more viable as more I play the game. I see the bombs to be very useful, and the kick attack is becoming less viable a lot, except for when you need to paralyze enemies. But yeah, that's what I want to see in a hub world. Ways that you nerf the character, but you make them better and better by purchasing them in the item shop, and overall to get more value at the hub worlds. And when it comes to story mode, and yeah, in terms of story mode, I really see everything sticking to be the same. You have three campaigns. Well, 4 if you count the last story. You have 3 campaigns, you have to still do them, and yeah, that's how I see everything to stay the same. But then let's talk about another thing. The last episode. If you know already, I did say that there's something in the last episode I wanted to talk about, and that is the Solaris fight. I really want this fight to be really good, to be very special, because it's the end of the journey, it's the end of everything, it's the end for this game, and to restart the entire thing from zero. What I want to see from this thing is to at least make the boss fight good to play. It's already good in retail, but the problem comes that I saw is that you can only start as Sonic, switch to Shadow, and switch to Silver back to Sonic. That is a circle that you have to do in order to do things. Because if you know already, Sonic doesn't do damage at first. You switch to Shadow, no damage still. Silver says a line, and then he can do damage. And then you have to switch to Shadow, do damage, and then after that, Sonic is the one who has to do damage again. After that, the second phase, you can just go all out. You can be a wild animal if you want to. But that's the thing. I want that boss fight to be special. But the one thing I say that the only thing that can fix this boss fight is that you have the ability to switch to whoever hedgehog you want. But not in like say, oh, you're Silver? or like you're to Sonic, and you want to switch to somebody else. Actually, I'm making things up, but is the way I can say is to make it a reverse circle. But what they did before, you can switch to Silver and then do the damage. Then you can switch to Shadow and then to Sonic. You understanding? What I'm asking is a reverse circle of what they did. Instead of switching to Sonic to Shadow, you switch Sonic to Silver and Silver to Shadow, and you can switch back to Silver if you want to. That way, you can still use the Hedgehog you feel you have the most control over, and that way you don't have to do this ridiculous going to Sonic, Shadow, and Silver, Sonic, Shadow, and Silver, like that rotation over and over again. You have the option of who you want to switch with, so that you have a advantage. That is the one thing I want in the Solaris fight. That is the one thing, and I think I actually tweeted out with chaosX when I said, "Hey, dude, great work over P-06. This has been very special for me." And that's the one thing I did say I wanted for P-06 in the final boss fight. That is the one thing. If chaosX has plans to do that, I'll be very happy. If once I do a video of that Solaris boss fight, I would scream if I see that option that you can switch to Sonic to Silver, Silver to Sonic, and Sonic to Shadow, Shadow to Sonic, or something like that. Having that option that you can switch to whoever Hedgehog you want, it's just very special. It would make me scream. I don't care for the end of the world, because one, that level obviously is gonna be touched, and I think overall the one thing that was really fixing was the characters, and actually make the whole thing extend more, because I saw a video of someone doing that, and man, it was easy. I don't see that level to be hard at all. Somebody here was really making us look that level to be really hard. It's better to call that stage terrifying, but not to a point of saying, "Oh my god, it's so hard and terrifying." No, it's just terrifying. That's just the one thing I would just mention about this game. But after that, there's nothing else I have to add, except maybe eliminate the multiplayer, because I don't think there'll be one time I'll ever use this ever. I would say please just to remove the multiplayer. No one needs it. Who would go to P-06 and play with somebody, like say your brother or someone? I'll tell you, absolutely 0 players will go and just do that. They will go to single player and play whatever stage they have here. That is all I can say about that. To just please remove this chaosX. I really don't want to see the multiplayer thing and still not be an option, because I can sincerely say that this is not going to be useful in the near future. Also, this customization option is good, but I think there should be more stuff around it. But that's just a tiny thing. I don't think it really needs help or anything. So yeah, that's basically it. This might be the shortest video by far I ever done, or potentially still the longest video I've done, because all my P-06 playthroughs have been 1 hour each. Well, almost half of 1 hour, except for Silver. I blame Blaze for that one. So yeah, you can hit like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Also follow me on my Instagram for more art. Follow me on Twitter if you want to interact with me and ask me what are things I love about P-06, why I have plans for the future, and sort of stuff. I really have nothing else to do. This is my final P-06 video, because as I said again, I'm not doing the review. I already said I canceled it because of how so many reviews are out there. I think I'll leave a lot of those videos in the description to let people see why. As to why I will never review P-06. So yeah, this is it. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you all the next one. This is the Dark Red. Hope to see you all another day.